Yo, welcome to ConverStayShuns. My name is Devin Boyd, aka Lyrical Instrumentalist, and I'll be your only and solo host today. Yo, so usually, I like to kind of decompress a little bit just to say how I've been doing. I know I've been stating that I've been wanting to be more consistent with my podcast, and I think it's been a couple months since I've actually dropped a conversation episode, so I definitely do apologize there. I really am trying to make some strides to actually be more consistent because I have a lot to say, so I'm really trying to drop a lot of knowledge and thoughts and different things that might actually help elevate and stimulate someone else's mind. So that's kind of where I've been at. Like I said, 2020 started off really well. 2019 had a lot of ups and downs, but I ended 2019 pretty well, started off 2020 pretty well. January, did, like I said, New Year's Eve, and then a few days after that, I flew out to Oakland with Queen Dila to DJ for her. And then from there, it just kind of seems like 2020 kind of went downhill for me a little bit. I had some people, family members pass away. And a close friend of mine passed away as well. And that was all right before the COVID-19 corona resulted in everything worldwide. But, I live in Texas, so that's where I'm focused. But everything in Texas pretty much shutting down. So that kind of put a damper in a lot of things. So for those who are, music driven or just follow festivals, there's South by Southwest here in Austin, Texas. And that actually got canceled. There was a lot of threats of it being canceled as a result of COVID-19. But it actually got canceled. So, I had a few gigs lined up for that got canceled, which sucked because, I was coming in 2020 pretty strong. Even with, my friends and family passing, it was still still ready to go forward with 2020. But then this happened. So it's like, damn, like I said, put a huge damper in a lot of plans and thoughts. Because even right now, it's trying to plan for events, but it's kind of hard because certain locations aren't open or we can't meet with certain people. It's, been a huge hindrance. But a lot of people, including myself, have been doing a lot of virtual type of things, virtual events, which has, been helping a lot of us stay afloat because I already worked from home. So they got a lot of people who actually either got laid off or their positions that they were holding no longer exist. Maybe they're a contract or something, but now they're just unemployed. I've heard some people getting something called furlough, which I never really heard of that for a job until now, which is kind of cool, which I believe is a temporary layoff. So once things open back up, those particular individuals get their jobs back, which is pretty dope. But yeah, for me, I already worked from home, so it wasn't much of an adjustment for me. But the hard thing is, even though I'm an introvert, so me, chilling by myself or staying inside or not having to be around a lot of people isn't a challenge for me. However, because I work from home and then I produce music and all this kind of stuff as well, it's been a challenge for me because I don't have an outlet, so to speak, right? So usually when I get off of work, sometime I roll over to my computer, you know what I mean? There's that job's computer, then there's my work computer, my career computer, my shit, you know what I mean? I just roll back and forth between the computers. Anyways, but being in the same space all the time, some people call it cabin fever, and I've heard another term for it. But I think that's starting to play a part for me because, again, I'm home all the time. And then the gyms are closed, so it's not like I can go to the gym, get my workout, and come back home and then work on music and videos or whatever. So it's I can't even like go up the street to like a quick little bar, just to get a little drink or whatever. Just something like just to get away from the house. All I've been doing is really riding my bike or walking my dog, which is cool, but like it's really not. You know what I mean? Like even sometimes might ride my bike to the gym or ride my bike to the store, to a bar. Certain things I go to just to kind of like unwind from work, but that's stopping me. Or like I said, not being able to, like I'm being creative, but like I need like some different venues and avenues from like that to be able to get my creativity out, and showcase some of the stuff I can do. But all this is kind of hindering me from that, and like, it's definitely a, what am I trying to say? Like a motivation killer, I guess. Like, that motivation, that inspiration, that drive has kind of dropped because of this, just because of the hindrance. And then there's for me, it's a lot of frustration around it all. Because I am taking it serious. I am taking COVID-19 serious. But there's still a bunch of questions for me personally that I've been wanting to know that just hasn't been made clear for me. Like I said, I don't watch the news frequently because I feel like sometimes when you get too engulfed in the news, especially when they're trying to dish out fear tactics, which I believe COVID-19 is partially a fear tactic, right? I believe that the virus does exist, right? It's been around for a while, from my understanding, the COVID virus, which is essentially like the flu, but there's, different levels and mutations of it or whatever. And 19 is meaning the 19th one or whatever, right? So I'm not, discrediting that at all. But looking at the statistics, today I just found out that the United States, I guess, made 1 million cases, is what they said. But from what I read so far, it didn't say 1 million deaths. It just said 1 million cases, which I can pretty much assume, or we can all safely assume that means that there's been 1 million people who have been infected by it, which is a lot, don't get me wrong. But another statistic I looked up, or some numbers I was looking up just to understand the severity, right? I think there was like 500 million people in America, and it was like 500 plus. So I don't want to quote a number, then somebody comes on here listening to this podcast. It's like, no, it was 501 million. See, that's the issue with people like you. You don't get your facts together. All right, calm the fuck down. But yeah, it was like at least 500 million people in America, if I'm not mistaken. It could be more, but we're just gonna say 500 million people. And then let's just look at the new number. 1 million people had it. And then the last number I read is like, I think I read like 20,000 people died from it, but I'll just throw up, inflate that number a little bit. Let's say 50,000 people died from it. So yeah, 500 million people in America, and 50,000 people died from it. 50,000 people is a lot, but if you look at the percentage, it isn't really that much. Now, again, not taking anything away from the severity of it, because I do know some people. I do know someone who did actually pass away from it. And I know some people who have family members who passed away from it. So, like, again, not discrediting anything, not taking away from the severity of it. I'm not joking around with it. I'm not saying I'm not taking it serious, but there's still just a lot of lingering questions, just kind of centered around it. Y'all President Donald Trump issued out or made some kind of statement. Y'all was making some kind of crazy statement, but he made some notice. I said y'all president. Anyways, so he made a statement or announcement or Twitter or some shit or whatever, saying how people should inject like disinfectants and shit like that and drink them and all this kind of shit. Like, and everybody know that's really crazy because obviously you can die from the toxins within bleach and all that kind of stuff. However, not saying I agree with him, because even though I did read this meme that was like, y'all stop trying to tell them Trump supporters not to drink bleach. Basically, it's their body, their mind. They let them do what they want to do with it, which I agree. But anyways, So like the crazy thing is like they're saying the COVID-19, like with, if you're washing your hands, it'll kill the virus, if it was on your hands, I guess. And it'll like soap and water and like hand sanitizer, all that kind of stuff kills the virus. And then they say heat kills the virus, which is cool. And certain levels of heat and certain levels of cold can kill the virus. Cool. So we have like all the strategies and remedies on how to get rid of the virus. And then they were saying just to kind of, which I saw a documentary on Netflix called, what is it called? This is Explained. I think it's just called Explained. And they had like a special one about coronavirus, which they kind of put it into a different little perspective, even though people have been kind of already saying this, but it's like you can touch something with the virus on it, but it'll only pretty much have a negative effect on you if you kind of put your hands on your face. So, sorry, Deshaun. But if you put your hands on your face, and which, essentially get into your body and your face and your eyes and your different crevices on your face that can get into your system. So I get that, so we definitely got to, as you always should have already been doing, washing your hands and cleanliness and being sanitary and safe and all that kind of stuff. But, we need a whole virus scare to get people to want to be clean and what's the other word? I was say hydrated, but you need to be hydrated too. But yeah, basically, we need the whole virus to show people that how you need to be clean, which is crazy. But anyway, so yeah, your president said that, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But I thought about that too. Like, what if you drink? What if you drink and you're sick with it? What if you did drink hand sanitizer? I'm sure you wouldn't die. You might get really sick, or you might get sick from it, but would you die from it? Bleach, yeah, I can get, like, some of those kind of things. But what if? I'm just saying, like, not saying I agree with your president, but, like, if this kills it, like, why can't we find some kind of something that counterbalances the same type of thing, but internally? Like, I was talking to a friend, and she and I were saying how I think our president, essentially, I can't say he was necessarily being serious, but like, to me, he's a walking satire. If you don't know what satire is, but it's like, he's a walking satire. So like, every so often he says something and it's like what the fuck? But you listen deep into what he's saying, it's like, oh, okay, you're almost like he's spreading, I don't want to say he's spreading truths, so I don't want anybody thinking like, oh, you think, like I like Trump or anything, but like, to me, he's revealing things is a better way to put it. So it's almost like whether he knows it or not, but he's revealing things in a crazy way sometimes. But if you listen to what he's saying or the tweets and posts and stuff he makes, like, to me, there's always like a deeper part to it. Not deep from him, like he's so prolific or anything, but like some of the stuff he might say, it sounds like real dumb, but like, why would he say that? And then you kind of do some research about, okay, this was dumb, but he's talking about this, which is also dumb, but anyways, I'm talking about COVID-19, let's stick with that. But yeah, so like, a lot of us have been down. I know a lot of people have been laid off, and like, finances is hurting, everyone. And then they issued out their stimulus checks, and if you, like, some people, like including me, like, you might already have some stuff, and if somebody in your household is laid off, you can get the stimulus check, but then it's like that check is going to kind of catching up or staying on top of bills or whatever, so it helps, but it's not really like the remedy, because your husband, your wife, your mate, or whomever, maybe you live with your brother or sister or brother-in-law, sister-in-law, somebody, and there was another source of income, but now that income is lost, so it's like, it kind of helps, but it doesn't, it's just crazy. But like, we all have to still try to find ways to stay afloat during these times. and can't let it keep us down. I know here in Texas they're saying everything is supposed to be opening back up in 2 days on Thursday. This podcast will be done Friday, but it would have opened yesterday. But anyway, it's supposed to be opening up soon, and I kind of disagree. I think it'll be nice because certain establishments, people need their jobs still, and they get the safety, but at the same time, people need their jobs. So, but from what I read, it's going to be businesses going to operate at 25%. So they can't be 100%. They can't, be fully functional. So I'm assuming it will be more of still a numbers thing, where only so many people can come in there. So I'm sure, if you think of a restaurant, you can't say restaurant functioning at 25% in the sense of their menu depletion, but maybe they won't have to be as much staffed, or maybe they will be somewhat fully staffed, but not as much customers, which I think would be better for the restaurant because they can get people in and out faster because they have enough people to be there, to wash dishes, cook, prep, and all that stuff, and just keep the restaurant going really fast, and maybe have a time limit on how many people or how long people can be in there. And they might run it like that. We'll see. It'd be kind of cool if they do. But I know on day one, if everything opening back up, it's on one hand you want to kind of be I'm gonna jump out there and do stuff, but I'm not. I'm gonna still chill. For one, it's gonna be still at work, so it's not that big of a deal. And two, I'm not that eager to, and because I know there's gonna be a lot of people out who might actually have COVID-19, so it might just spread again, or you're just gonna have a lot of people out, just being ignorant or just being in the way. I feel if restaurants and bars and all this stuff have a limited amount of people, you're going to have lines. And then you're going to have a lot of long lines and people who are frustrated because they have to be in these long lines. And maybe somebody looks like they cut a line. I just feel it's going to be more chaotic than it really needs to be. Sorry. But yeah, so we're going to see about that. But I would say during these times, and during this time, I hope everyone kind of stack their money away as much as they can, plan for the future. I hope this actually leads and opens people's minds and start to take more things into to take more things into consideration, in the sense of just how you spend your money, how you spend your time, how you where you put your money in investments, and how to be a little bit more thrifty in the sense and creative on how you can utilize the things in your house and adapt faster. I feel the people who are suffering the most are people who can't adapt. I sometimes feel if you grew up poor or not that financially wealthy or privileged, you adapt to all this. You have adapted to most of this stuff a lot faster because it's almost you didn't have much. For me personally, my parents did great, did all they can to make sure to me and my sister, live, survive, were able to go to school, all that kind of stuff. I'm saying? They did right for us the best that they could, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I know my parents weren't rich, but we weren't I don't know, looking back now, we probably were poor. We weren't homeless, so that was the biggest thing. My parents made sure we didn't go. We weren't homeless, but we might have been poor, but just because, we didn't want much, and I think that was distilled into us as well. Obviously, in the black family, it'd be you got McDonald's money and all that kind of stuff, right? But I feel my parents, they partially distilled kind of be satisfied with what you got and do what you got, which is a good mentality to have. Because if you don't have much, you know how to use what you have. Now, if you get more, it's just a more and more plus for you, because Like if you only can survive with this little bit, if you have a little bit more, it's like that just improves what you can do. But anyways, like I feel like certain people, like this is harder for them because they couldn't adapt to this way of life. Like people went out buying a bunch of toilet paper, and I'm like, I get it, and paper towels, I get it, but like real talk, like if times got hard, use it. If you have a washer and dryer, you know what I mean? Like I'm just saying. But then you're gonna have a bunch of people who are gonna have a surplus of like toilet paper and stuff. But a friend of mine made a good point. Like he was like, you know, some people might try to use that as currency, like their surplus of items, use that as currency if depending on how the economy goes after this is all over. But anyways, like hope everybody was able to kind of like band together. Like another friend of mine made a point as well that pollution levels have dropped. Statistically shown. I didn't go do any research, but it makes sense. A lot of people are staying home, aren't driving around as a lot, aren't just being out there, doing so much. Like I think sometimes things like this helps us to just to sit down. Sometimes we just need to sit down and just not have to do so much and try to be out and doing too much all the time. Like I think this is making us sit and reflect, which I think a lot of us in the world need to do. In addition, I think this is also a lesson for us as a people to learn how to connect to each other again. Because it's crazy, even though with the social distancing, I've actually had more like older white people who would have probably never said hello or looked at me, been extra friendly. And like even in my neighborhood, like I actually got to talk to some neighbors that like you see in passing, but like everybody's here, so it's like why not make the best of it and like everybody get to talk and just get to know each other. So I think it's been, from that aspect, it's been pretty cool. And just people need to bond together and band together to start doing more things to actually help their communities and help the world, because you got a lot of people out here who say negative stuff like tree huggers, but like we need people to actually care about the environment, because at the end of the day, like stuff like this happens and then we rely so much on other types of things like technology, and then when shit like this happens, we're all fucked basically. I'm just saying. But another thing I want to, before I jump off of here, I've heard different conspiracy theories. I heard this was population control. I heard some people mention like 5G towers, and I just want to speak on that real quick. Am I in total disagreement with the 5G ideology or population control? No, because if you look at historical events, right, that historical patterns, I'll say. If you look at historical patterns, there's different things throughout history that kind of reflects these same moments. Of course, there's been multiple pandemics, but like, look at the time frame in which they happen. I'm not even going to quote any of them, just let you look it up yourself and maybe let you put it together yourself and see what you say. Maybe it's just me, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist kind of person, but I am into logic and things that just make sense. But so just look at different historical patterns and like different pandemics and things that happen around those times. And I'm not trying to say a certain date, nothing like that, but just look into some of those things and it'll just make you wonder like, is this or is it not? I don't know. But what else did I say? Yeah, population control. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe. It's not illogical. It's not impossible. The 5G tower thing, I've heard a couple of different things like that. It just makes you sick, and with these types of symptoms, I've heard like, they have the ability to like cause fires through like laser beam. Well, not laser beam. It's not the word somebody used, but like the frequency, the waves and stuff. I believe that wholeheartedly. I don't know. However, I don't think it's the towers themselves, because if I'm not mistaken, I used to work for some cell phone companies, and the physical towers themselves have always been there. Hence why you have like 3G, 4G, 5G, right? But they might have to modify some things on the towers to be able to push out the extra frequency for their particular cell signal or whatever. Hence, 3G, 4G, 5G, and the 5G obviously is a more powerful frequency than the 4G and the 3G and all that LTE, all that kind of stuff, right? So it's like, okay. But here's the part that makes sense. So there is a military weapon that has the ability to send out some kind of frequency wave or whatever. And so the design of it was, or is, to be able to, like in hostage situations, be able to kind of break up the crowd, push the, push the person who's holding someone hostage, kind of remove them from the situation. That's the word I was looking for. So like, if I'm holding someone hostage with a gun or whatever, and I'm in a crowd or something, maybe, if they're trying to shoot me or take me down, they're in a bad situation to where, they run the risk of hitting innocent people or whatever because I got this gun to this person's head. So what this weapon does is almost like they can pinpoint where the person is, and they essentially send out some kind of frequency at that spot of where the person is. And what it does is almost like it vibrates the molecules or something, but it like vibrates something in them where it's almost like a shock, and it gives them like massive discomfort, so to the point where they like drop their gun or weapon or whatever and kind of like move from that area, which at that point frees up, moves the criminal or whatever out of the equation from the innocents. And obviously if there's a sharpshooter, they can take them out, or the police or SWAT can rush in and get them, or whatever the case is, so that was the design of the weapon. This video I saw, they actually did like a mock thing and had two real people, and then like different people would test holding like a real person, and the person who was filling in to be the terrorist or person holding someone hostage, they also said how they kind of like felt it, and like you'd see them like they're discomfort and they move around. According to that video, they were like, it's non-lethal, but it was like obviously if they kept vibrating, people would can't remember, I think they said they basically would probably get sick. It wouldn't necessarily kill them, but like it would definitely cause massive discomfort as it does, but like possibly get the person sick. So again, it makes sense. The 5G towers, if it's that same type of frequency, what I'm saying, it's not like that's an impossibility. So I'm just saying. And then just to, kind of harp back on COVID, people getting sick. We have to also, again, think of, being clean as well as, but you also have to look at the numbers when you listen to the death toll. How many of those people actually had pre-existing conditions? So, while we're all out here running in fear, but the people who have passed away, if I'm not mistaken, the majority of those people probably had some pre-existing condition, whether it was documented or not, but they possibly already had something that already kind of weakened their immune system. Because as far as I'm concerned, like back in December 2019, like a few people I know who actually had the flu probably actually had COVID-19. I know one person said that their doctor was like, it's a different strand of the flu, but it's still the flu. You know what I mean? And then I always wondered, did they give any of these COVID patients the flu shots? Because I argued with somebody who was like, well, no, it's not going to work. I'm like, first of all, you're not a doctor. Two, how do you know? Three, what's the worst that can happen? It just doesn't work, right? If somebody's ill from the COVID-19 and you give them something that's lesser, like, it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna hurt them. It's just gonna not work. So I don't know. But anyways, thank y'all for tuning in again. Be safe. Hopefully, like I said, everything does end this weekend and everybody can go back to normal. But if not, everybody still be safe. Still practice social distancing. I get it. Like, it's frustrating, and some of us who don't all the way believe in existence and do believe in conspiracy, I totally get it. But still, we gotta, just practice caution. Those masks are very fucking uncomfortable and annoying. But, just go to the store as you need to. Do what you gotta do. Go your ass back home. It's cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just trust me, I'm the person who really wants to go against the grain and open up underground speakeasies and stuff. And underground parties. But I'm just saying, like, everybody just chill. It's a good time to chill. Plan. Think about some different things. Plan for once this is over, what you can do to rebuild your business, and stay afloat. I'm just saying, but don't let it destroy your morale. This is a good time to reconnect with some family members that need to be reconnected with, because some of y'all, can't fuck with all the fam. But anyways, yeah, like, just kidding, kind of. But yeah, I would say, everyone, as a positive note, stay connected. After COVID is over, let's continue to practice social distancing. Maybe not as distant, but just keep your hygiene. That's the word I've been looking for this whole damn time. But let's all keep your hygiene and cleanliness, and let's still continue to practice those safe things, so we don't get sick normally. And let's keep trying to connect. Let's continue to do virtual things. We can do it in person as well. Let's continue to do virtual things. Have that same energy as we were doing, to try to connect with people. So let's keep that going and still try to connect with people in a physical, personal level, as well as still digital. Let's keep up both avenues. Let's keep that going. Let's, start talking to our neighbors. You never know who knows who or who knows what. You know what I mean? Like, let's start connecting everyone. Let's start uniting, because the people who are running the world, just like with any big entity, sometimes they don't really understand how the bottom level things actually function, because they aren't living that, right? So let's show the higher powers how important we are, and how strong we are, and how united we can be. You know what I mean? And that goes around the world with that thought, because they're nothing without us, and we are the people. So let's all stick together, and let's unite. I'm just saying. But all right, y'all, again, thank y'all for tuning in to ConverStayShuns. My name is Devin Boyd, aka Lyrical Instrumentalist, and peace.
Fuck that shit, we need nothing from you, cause we good and we fly and we good.